It's story time.
Welcome to Story Time. I'm Kimberlyn with Life's Work Yoga, and Story Time is an opportunity for us to connect. It's kind of one-sided. Yes, I'm here to connect and share stories, but it's also an open invitation for you to connect in your world, whether it's you connect with me, right, with a response or a thumbs up or a comment, a question. I love questions, but Story Time is also an invitation and an opportunity to demonstrate how we connect as humans. That connection is such an integral part of us living authentically, living vibrantly, that I want to make sure that I live in accordance with what I preach, what I teach, what I practice. So in that sense, I come to you to share the stories of my life, some of which are stories of long ago that today keep turning up, and I continue to glean lessons from them. Others are stories that are much more recent or much more perhaps specific to this time, this nature, right? Social issues happening today, right? So in that sense, story time could just be you and me meeting here at whatever time is convenient for you. I'm here at 9 o'clock on Tuesdays. However, starting next month in September, I have pushed it back to 9:30 to kind of fit with the studio schedule a little bit better. So make a note, join me here at 9:30, or the video will live on and you can access it either from Facebook or from lifesworkyoga.com/storytime. Okay, so the story that I want to share with you today is actually kind of, well, it might seem very simple. And what I mean by that is obvious, or like, duh, Kimberlyn, did you not realize this? But really what it stems from is this notion that creativity often comes from a result of necessity, right? There's a quote, necessity is the mother of all creation, or something like that, right? Well, I live my life really full, and I tend to do things with a lot of gusto. And as a result of that, I have injured myself a number of times, pretty significantly, to the point where I was on crutches for over a year, 2 different times while I was in high school. I had a severe concussion. That's actually the impetus that brought me to yoga. Again, I was on bed rest for over a year in recovery from that. And then more recently than that, I had 2 abdominal back-to-back surgeries that required an extended period of rest. And all of these things felt like an interruption to my life. But as a result of that interruption, as a result of that forced taking a step back, I learned some valuable lessons. Now, you might be laughing because it took me repeated interventions to learn these lessons, right? But those are the milestones, the big ones. In between those big milestones, it seemed like every couple of years I was having a traumatic experience that caused my life to be severely interrupted. Severely, like shifted completely, shift my entire social network. Some of this was related to relocation and moves, or just having a new passion come out, or whatever it might be, is that big transitions, big transformation. And I now recognize that has a lot to do with my bigness in terms of energy, and yet I needed these forced halts to take steps back in order to recalibrate and reset. Now, one of the things that has made it through this period of forced reset is a restructuring of the yoga practice, right? So I shared with you that I was introduced to yoga after my bicycle accident. But in honesty, I believe that I've been doing yoga my whole life. I just didn't have the name for it. Why? Because for me, yoga is 3 things: breathe, move, and rest. And that is the story that I want to share with you. Because starting next week, Wednesday, I'll be doing a live broadcast every week in which case you can participate in a practice that I call breathe, move, rest. And it's that simple. It is literally a few minutes to breathe, a few minutes to move the entire body, to wake up and lubricate all of the joints. It's one of the interpretations of Dasha Shalana from the yoga tradition. And then welcoming in a few minutes of rest. Now, the thing that I'm most excited about this particular practice is that you can participate with me live, absolutely. But you can also receive the video as a access and reference point to repeat that practice every single day until we meet again for a week, right? So in that sense, I hope to help you breathe, move, and rest, yes, but also help to cultivate more of a connection with your own body, mind, and breath so that you can integrate these simple practices throughout your day. Sprinkle that shit like glitter. That's the idea, okay? So where did this come from? Well, it came directly out of my experience of being stuck in bed. I was specifically told, you can't do yoga. I know that that's your coping mechanism. I know that that's your go-to for everything, which it is. But what my doctor didn't understand is that yoga is so much more than doing a shape like downward dog, right? Yoga is the mindset that we come to meet ourselves in the moment. And so breathe, move, rest was a way for me to adapt what had been primarily a very physical practice into what is much more of an integrated practice, an opportunity to really align and unite the spirit, the physical body, the energetic body, the emotional body, the intellectual mind, and all that comes together. So there were days when I was following the strictest of guidelines of no yoga, in which case all of my shapes in terms of my body were done in my visualization, were done in an imagination state, but a focused, concentrated, intentional imagination state. Because what I learned the first time that I was significantly interrupted and found yoga was that my headspace was not a safe place. I was full of judgment and fear and negative self-talk. And when I wasn't able to read or listen to music or engage in social relationships because I was so injured and broken, I didn't have a way to put in distracting thoughts. I didn't have a way to put in counter thoughts. I didn't have a way to shift that mental concept until I really embraced the meditation side of yoga. And my gateway into that meditation side was actually through the breath, giving myself something to feel, something to pay attention to, something to, in my mind's eye, follow energetically, gave me permission to be still long enough for my body to feel the benefits of not only the rest, but also the benefits of visualizing those movements. So this is really an invitation to begin again, which is kind of the standard here at Life's Work Yoga. Every breath, every day, every moment is an opportunity and an invitation to begin again. But in that beginning again, can we cultivate the space for some new habits that improve how we are living, increase our intimacy with prana, with vitality, with inspiration? Breathe, move, rest is a simple practice. And you don't need me to guide you. I gave you the secret. Breathe, move, and rest. Literally, move the head, move the shoulders, move the wrists. But if you'd like to be guided, join me next Wednesday at 9:30 to about 9:55, about 20 to 25 minutes, in which case it's a virtual only program. When you register for that class, you will get a link to that class to repeat as often as you'd like for the next week, in which case that link will be updated for those who participate in the next class. So I look forward to hearing your stories of how Breathe, Move, Rest can simplify the choices that you make on a daily basis, but more importantly, connect you deeper to your inspiration And maybe, just maybe, there's a story in there that you share with a loved one in your life so that we can build this connection, expand this circle of authenticity and vulnerability, this practice of living with inspiration. I'm Kimberlyn. This is Storytime, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Maybe next week at Storytime, 9:30, starting in September, or at Breathe, Move, Rest, 9:30 on Wednesday morning. Take care, be well. May you breathe deeply, move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. May you know the simple beauty of breathe, move, rest. Namaste.